So there's this absolutely insane story coming out of South Africa that perfectly demonstrates how adults can take a bad situation and somehow make it exponentially worse. A 16-year-old child at Milnerton High School got brutally assaulted by a group of older students, allegedly members of the school's first team rugby squad. And guess what? The whole thing was caught on video. Yep, nobody helped. The whole thing was just caught on video. And the footage went viral on October 16th, sparked exponential outrage because what was shown in this video is genuinely disturbing. So disturbing, I'm not going to show you on this video. We're talking about some schoolyard scuffle or kids pushing each other around. If you think I'm talking about that, you're wrong. This was a younger student getting assaulted by multiple older boys. Now, here's where things should have gone. The school should have immediately expelled every single student involved in that assault. Period. The police should have been called, charges should have been filed, and those kids, because let's be real, at that age they're old enough to understand consequences, should be facing some serious legal repercussions. If you're 17 or 18 years old at school and you're ganging up on a random 16-year-old and beating them badly enough that it causes natural outrage, you don't get to just serve detention and write an apology letter on the chalkboard. You need to face actual consequences that might include jail time, because that's not bullying, that is absolute assault and battery. The school administration should have been transparent, should have been professional, and should have been decisive. They should have addressed the parents immediately, explained exactly what disciplinary and legal actions were being taken, and demonstrated that they take student safety seriously. They should have brought in counselors for the victim, reviewed their anti-bullying policies, and shown some actual genuine leadership. That is how you handle a crisis like this when you're in a position of authority and responsibility. But apparently, that's not what happened here. It wasn't the good old "you did bad, now go to jail." Instead, when the economic freedom fighters, the Red Beret Avengers, a South African political party, showed up on October 22nd with about 50 members of their youth command to demand accountability, the principal reportedly refused to engage with them and insisted on paperwork. Now, I'm not saying school administration is obligated to meet with every political group that shows up at their door. But when a kid has been brutally beaten at your school and there's national outrage, maybe the "I need the proper forms" isn't the right response, because the kid being brutally brutalized is the actual evidence. But the EFF makes it even worse. They decided the best course of action was to try and storm the school. And here's where we need to talk about how this is possibly the worst way to handle this situation. You cannot solve violence against children by creating more chaos that affects other children. Not gonna lie, if I was that school principal, I would be pissed as well. Why don't you come here professionally and show the papers? Why do you have to cause all that chaos? And now I have to deal with protesters trying to force their way into my campus and police firing stun grenades to disperse the crowds. How is this helping anyone? Like, maybe I'm missing the whole joke here. The EFF's heart might have been in the right place, demanding justice for a bullied child, but their methods were absolutely brain dead. You know what actually helps? Legal action, media pressure, formal complaints to the Department of Education, organized peaceful protests that don't terrorize other students. Why did the white genocide theory trend so much? Not because people were protesting outside. It's because they were making their online presence and statements known. If the EFF had done the same thing, then maybe, just maybe, the school would have been held accountable. Don't try to rush into the building like you're storming the Bastille, because that's not going to solve anything. And here's the thing that makes this even more frustrating. By handling it this way, the EFF actually made things worse for everyone, including the victim they were supposedly trying to help. Now, the story isn't just about the assault anymore. It's about political protests and police using stun grenades and chaos at the school. The narrative got muddied. The EFF made everything even worse, as they usually do. The focus shifted. Now, instead of everyone talking about those rugby children, those demons, accountable for fixing the systemic bullying problem at the school, we are now debating whether the EFF's tactics were justified. I don't know about you guys, but destroying someone's property cannot be justified. According to reports, parents and even other political parties like the ANC joined those protests and shared testimonies about ongoing bullying issues at Milnerton High School. Of course, go protest and destroy property to address your issues. So it wasn't just an isolated incident. This school apparently has a serious problem with violence and bullying that has been festering for a while. If students do this to other students, what do you think the teachers do to the students there? That's something that desperately needs to be addressed through proper channels, not protesting. I don't know, like investigations, policy changes, administrative accountability, and yes, criminal charges where appropriate. Those older students who beat up that kid should be facing jail time even though they're also kids. Not because we want to ruin those children's lives forever, but because they need to understand that actions have consequences. They must understand that violent assault has serious consequences. A 16-year-old victim deserves justice, and that justice should come through the legal system, not through political theater and campus chaos. The whole situation is a perfect storm of institutional failure, vigilante justice attempts, and adults on all sides forgetting that their primary responsibility is to the safety and well-being of the students, the children. The school administration apparently failed to address bullying inadequately. The attackers failed to be decent human beings. The EFF has failed once again to channel their outrage into productive action, like they always do. And now everyone is pointing fingers at each other, while a kid who got brutally beaten, assaulted, is probably watching all this chaos unfold, wondering if anyone actually cares about getting him justice the right way. Was the EFF even doing this for the kid, or was this a publicity stunt? This is what happens when systems break down and everyone decides to handle things in the worst possible way. And I hate it when the EFF uses situations like these to cause the performance they did in such situations. Tell me what you think about this. Maybe I'm being way too bitter and not understanding. Maybe I'm the wrong one. Maybe the EFF did actually do right by going and destroying property and trying to raid the school, despite not bringing any paperwork. Maybe I'm the wrong one. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Like and subscribe. If you don't know, yes, I've been shadow banned. But they thought they could stop me. They haven't. In fact, what they've done now is they've made me 10 times stronger than ever. I remember when everybody was laughing about how YouTube was going to ban me after my first few videos. At the time, I had about 200, 300 subs. Look where I am now. More powerful than ever. And those people are like mice looking up at me. Like the fear god of YouTube I am. No, I'm kidding. But you guys get the idea. I've been telling the truth, and some higher-ups just don't like that. So because of that, they've been removing my subscribers. If you guys noticed, there's a reason why my subscriber growth has like plateaued or just stopped or froze. At one point, it was actually even going down. It's because if you subscribe to my channel, go and check again, because they probably made you unsubscribe against your own will. And that's literally what they've been doing to me and the channel. But unfortunately, the summer movement is just getting started, and all they did was just make this even worse. Ha! I'll see you guys next time.